Hello, everyone. It's Phil Jones from Projector Reviews, and joining me is Jonathan Franklin from Samsung. So, Jonathan, how are you?
Doing well, Phil. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking to Samsung about some really cool projection products that they offer. But before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Meridio and AV Pro Edge, for helping us put on this fall's projection showcase, where we talk about all things projection, including projectors, screens, as well as the accessories you need to design a great system. But today we are going to be talking to Samsung about some really cool approaches that they have taken to projection. So Jonathan, can you talk a little bit about Samsung? Because Samsung is like the biggest when it comes to flat panel manufacturer, but you guys also do more than that as well, right?
Absolutely. So, we've been the world leader in home entertainment for quite some time. It's now been 16 years in a row. We've been the number one TV brand on the planet. So
Mhm.
when people think about Samsung TVs, we've been out there with quite a bit of muscle. However, people were really surprised a couple of years ago when we started to relaunch some of our projectors. And this year, we launched something that completely surprised and delighted all sorts of folks at CES with a product called the Freestyle. Now, the Freestyle is a really, really fun product. We got a lot of fantastic feedback, and I got to say, it is by far one of my favorite products that we have in our portfolio.
Samsung makes a lot of TVs. TVs come in all sizes, but then there's also use cases that maybe a TV may not be the best display. So they've done things like the wall. So if you want something as, absolutely gigantic, but you want the benefits of a flat panel TV, like not having to worry about light and super high resolution and vivid colors, they have that. But there's things that you can do with a projector that you really cannot do with a TV. And this freestyle piece, it really stood out. Now, the funny thing about that is they actually gave me a little sample and to play with. And I do projectors all the time. And Jonathan, when I brought this home, I called my daughter in and I said, "Come in the bedroom." And my wife and I were looking at video, on the ceiling, like we talk about that kind of thing. She thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and she's hijacked it from me. I've been trying to finish the review for the last, this week. But every time I go in her bedroom, she has this. She absolutely loves this thing. And like I said, I have hundreds and hundreds of projectors that come through, our offices and labs all the time. Lots of little portables and everything else, but this one is the only one that she really gravitated towards you. And I think that was the idea of this product, right?
Yeah, so when we were thinking about the freestyle, we're thinking about bringing something to market. Two words came to mind, and for us, it's point and play. Because there have been projectors out there, the auto keystone for quite some time. However, this one's a little bit different, right? Because you have this cradle that's built in, you're able to project it onto a wall. You can pivot up to a ceiling, and not only does it auto keystone from a vertical standpoint, but also from a horizontal standpoint. So, for instance, you talked about your daughter kind of taking this freestyle from you. My wife has pretty much commandeered our freestyle here at home,
Mhm.
and she swore that we would not have a TV in the bedroom. We don't want a TV in the bedroom. I work for a TV company, so there's TVs all over the place. Well, what we do have is a freestyle, and I keep it actually on my nightstand. And even though I'm projecting off angle, that point and play functionality that we have with the automatic keystone, the automatic picture adjustment, allows me to view my content with almost no setup. If I happen to nudge my furniture or something like that, I don't have to go back and mess with the freestyle at all. It'll automatically correct itself. It's a really fantastic experience.
I had seen this idea of pointing it at the ceiling for a while. And I've always said, oh, it's great to be able to take one of these guys and either point it at a ceiling or point it at a blank wall. My kids play sports and we're always stuck in some hotel room and they want a bigger display. Being able to do that and have this use case was really, really cool. But what really makes it stand out beyond the fact that you can angle it is how well thought out all the other parts of this is. Because like I said, I have dozens of little pocket projectors that I can put on a tripod or try to figure out a way to fire it at the ceiling, but it was not a fully well thought out solution. And this piece is really well thought out, from the user interface to all of the different accessories you make. That really makes this unit quite unique when it comes to someone who's looking for a non-traditional way to display an image on a surface. It does a great job. It's a cool piece.
Yeah. So for instance, you mentioned camping, right? So we've got a couple accessories that actually make this really really easy to use on the go. And we like to call this, our portable cinema on the go, because it's more than just a projector, right? This is not just a display. There's all sorts of functions built right into this projector. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and grab one right here. We have, as you see on screen right now, our portable battery pack. So I've got one right here. So what you actually do is you just use this on top of the portable battery pack. This battery actually has 32,000 milliamp hours. And one of the great things about it is you have two different outputs, right? So you have one micro USB, which is a 50-watt output. That's enough to power the Freestyle for up to 3 hours. Then you have another 10-watt output where you can actually power your smartphone. So let's say you are out camping. Well, you want to have your cinema on the go. You can throw up a sheet just like you saw on that graphic there, and you could be projecting your favorite movie. As long as you have cell phone signal, you can use your phone's hotspot, connect to the Freestyle, and you're good to go. You don't have to have any other equipment necessary because of all the built-in smarts on this incredible projector.
Yeah, and I do like the battery pack kind of just snaps on the bottom of it, and it basically makes a more secure little platform for the projector to actually sit on. So I think it's well thought out. Like I said, it's those types of things. Sometimes you don't need the battery. And when I have this in my daughter's room, she doesn't need the battery. So why have the extra weight, the bulk, and even the expense for my daughter, who may just have this in her living room? But being able to take this and expand it with those additional accessories really makes it great. Then there's some other things you can do besides the ability to put a battery on it. Like we talked about being able to point it up at the ceiling, which of course everybody who's ever, the first thing that I showed at the people, they don't get it until they go, wow, I can lay in my bed straight up and look at it. They think that's really cool. But then I was like, hey, they make this other adapter where you can actually screw it into a light socket, because you got to power it, right? So what if you could screw it into a light socket and actually power it and either fire it up towards the ceiling or, like as you see here in this image, down towards the floor.
Yeah, the socket adapter is something that actually we get a lot of kind of aha moments. And one of the use cases that somebody shared with me at a convention recently is they got one of these. They're using the socket adapter, and you'll see on the bottom of a Freestyle there's these pogo pin connectors. And this is basically where the light socket adapter will connect. So it routes all the power through those pogo pins, and you can plug this into that light socket adapter. And in this case, what this individual was doing is they were using it in rail lighting. So they had a really weird area near their kitchen where they said that they couldn't fit a TV or didn't want to have to deal with cables or anything like that. So they actually just put it on a rail in their rail lighting fixture and are using it to project right there next to their kitchen. I thought that was a really brilliant use case. And that's just one of the many that having a really nifty accessory like this affords.
Yeah, and if you look at the thing, it's about the size of a can. So if you had it in a can, with the other cans, it's really cool. You turn off the other lights, and now you have this beautiful a little projector here. I mean, I love this little guy. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's cool. And then I started seeing all the accessories, and your brain starts going about, oh, I can do this with it, I can do that with it, and then it just kind of explodes. So this little accessory just shows that if you're going to be involved in projectors, there's a million different projector companies, but what can you do for that customer is looking for, like I said, a projected image that makes you guys stand out. I thought being able to downfire it or mount it into a light socket really is a great solution.
Absolutely. Now, I think it's such a unique accessory. It's such a unique way to power this projector. and I've not seen anybody do anything quite like it. So it's I really, really love this accessory.
Okay, you can angle it. It's got a battery pack. You can mount it into a ceiling. Because I went to CES and everybody was mesmerized by these because you had a little display area. And in that display, you had all these different ways that you were utilizing a Freestyle. Firing down on a kitchen table, like a little camp vignette, an office. And everybody was like, wow, that's really cool. But then there was even more accessories. So for example, you got to carry it somewhere. So you had even have these cool little cases to protect your investment.
Absolutely. So we talked about all those use cases where, let's say you were to take it camping, you want to go out, but you need to make sure it's protected. So we actually have this case that's available. It's IP55 rated, which means it's going to be resistant to water and dust. And you can fit your Freestyle projector right in here so that when you're on the go, you can keep it protected, keep it away from the elements. Of course, if you are out in the elements, you keep it in here as long as you can. Once everything dries up, then you've got your Freestyle. You can take your battery base and resume your entertainment in whatever fashion you prefer.
The other thing that my daughter came up with was she's like, oh, it's great and everything else, but like every other kid, they want to customize it. So white is cute, but I want it to be, I want more. What else can I do with it? So, and I was like, well, they have skins. So you can even, if you want it to be pink or tan or green or gold, you can actually even skin the unit. So these are cool.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got these 3 colors, so they each run $29.99. You've got forest green. We call that middle one Coyote Beige. It's a really cool color.
Beige.
We have Blossom Pink, which is I actually have one of those right here. And these actually it might be hard to see with the lighting here, but the Blossom Pink is actually it's actually really easy to apply these. So what you'll do is you'll take the Freestyle off of its cradle and you just slide the old one off, slide the new one on, and then reattach the cradle, and you're in business. You've got yourself your customized Freestyle. So now, not only can you watch your entertainment your way, you can also have your Freestyle look the way that you prefer.
Yeah. So now I know what my daughter wants for Christmas. She was like, "I want this for Christmas." So I guess I think I gotta get her that and the pink skin. And like I said, my daughter's now 16. She's pretty jaded, right? And I bring home like literally tons and tons of projectors, and she really wanted it. And she literally asked me for one of these for Christmas because she thought it was so cool. So that tells you that you have hit a home run. A big thing about this projector too, by the way, is it has all these cool accessories and everything else, but there's more to it than that. The unit's picture quality, and like I said, all of the other things were so well thought out. So they thought about just little things like it does have on the side of it a mini HDMI, but it's so well thought out. The odds of you having to plug in a physical cable, video cable to this, it's really not necessary. Because let's talk real quick about that first. The services and all of that stuff, because that's what really separates it. Because I've had other ones and I get it and I point it at my ceiling and I don't have any services to play. So I still got to go out and get something to connect to it. So let's talk about the interface and what's going on in this guy.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you pointed out the micro HDMI connector there because I too I've had my Freestyle now since it launched, and I have never once plugged anything into it. Even my laptop, there's the ability to share wirelessly from Windows. It has Miracast built right in, right? We call it Smart View at Samsung, but it uses the Miracast protocol. So I can share from my laptop, I can share from an Android device. It has AirPlay 2 built in as well. So if you are sharing from an Apple-based device, all of those are built in. But I think what is most important is the fact that we have our Tizen operating system built right into this device. So Tizen has been around for quite a long time now, and Samsung being the #1 TV manufacturer in the world, when we have, let's say, a partner that wants to launch a new app, well, they want to reach the most eyes and ears possible. So you better believe that Samsung is going to get that support from those A-tier streaming partners. So you're going to find your Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, all of those are going to be built right into this projector. So you don't need to use any type of third-party streaming dongle or anything like that, you're going to be able to launch that smart platform right off of the projector. All you got to do is plug in the power, power it up, and you're good to go. Another thing that I really like is Samsung TV Plus. So for anybody who is a cord cutter, Samsung TV Plus is built right into this. We have over 190 free channels, and I'm talking every type of content you could think of, from music videos to, I love to cook, so my favorite channel is America's Test Kitchen. I could literally watch them review spatulas for like an hour, and I've done that before. So having all of this built right in, I think, is a huge plus with this device.
When I first got out of the box and I looked at it, I was like, I got to get some photos for my review of it firing on the ceiling. So let me take it downstairs to my bedroom. Then I was like, wow, most of these smart so-called projectors, the smarts are kind of it's kind of like an add-on. So they'll give you a dongle and call it smart. It's not really well integrated in. And then that dongle, most of them, like I said, that run on something like maybe Android TV, don't support Netflix. So you go, man, the ones that people want: Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Hulu. I have those. That's 90% of what I'm watching most of the time. I want to watch my Game of Thrones on HBO Max. I mean, I want to watch my She-Hulk on Disney Plus, and I want to watch the football game on Hulu. And all of that was built in. So I just put my codes in, point at the ceiling, and I had all my stuff with one simple power cord. And that makes a difference. It really makes it more usable. So the concept is great, but if you don't have everything thought out well, it isn't going to work very well. And unlike most most projector manufacturers, as Jonathan said, they make millions of TVs. So the interface is seamless and not glitchy, and all the things you normally come across on a lot of these other little portable projectors. So kudos to you on that. And the picture quality is great. Now, what's the resolution on this little guy?
This is a 1080p projector.
Okay, so 1080p, which is more than enough for the applications that you are using it with. Now, it's not a light cannon. If you're trying to project 200 inches in a room with a huge amount of ambient light, you may want to upgrade a little bit to a bigger projector. But at night, for your kids, for you, on my ceiling, it came out to being about a 65-inch or 75-inch TV, and it looked great, even when my wife was sitting right next to me with the lights partially on. So it works really, really well. Now, you mentioned it has auto keystone correction. So when you go from one angle to another, it's pretty easy and it automatically corrects, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to, as I mentioned, the vertical keystoning, it also does horizontal keystoning. But one of the features that is kind of, I don't want to say it's hidden in the menu, it's there, but it doesn't do it automatically. But let's say you have a wall that you're projecting on, and there's a plate on the wall from a light switch or something like that, and it's bugging you that part of the projection keeps hitting that light switch. Well, you can actually manually scale and move the screen. So you could scale it down, let's say 1 inch or 2, and move it to the left or to the right so that it fits your projection surface like a glove. You don't want to have to move the projector closer, set it on the floor. You want to have your projector where you want your projector to be. And this gives you the ability to still project the image the way you want to see it, regardless of where you place it. So that's one of the things I love. It's true versatility, and I absolutely love it.
My daughter has it sitting on her nightstand firing at her wall, and I have it, when I was using it, I have it popped up on the ceiling. Even my wife, she liked it. I mean, I bring in like $20,000 projectors, and she's like, this thing, she was like, this is really cool. We can lay in bed and watch, Discovery Plus. And I'm like, yeah, we can. This is really cool. So it really, like I said, I think that was the goal of this projector, was to bring in more projection customers than what are looking for traditional projectors.
Oh, absolutely. And we when I say we call it our portable cinema on the go, I also kind of like to think about it as our most portable TV, right? Mm-hmm. Because look, watching TV is not a complicated affair. You turn it on, you find the content that you want to watch, and then you turn it off. And sometimes when you're setting up a brand new projector, depending on the type of projector that you have, that's not always the case. It can take a while to get everything configured the right way. If you've moved a projector from one room to another, it can take a while to get everything set up. You don't have to do that with the Freestyle. You plug it in, you point it where you want. If it doesn't do all of the image corrections automatically, which it does most of them, but if you have to do that scale and move, you're talking about a couple clicks and you're ready to go. So no complicated setup. When we say point and play, we mean it.
The other thing too is if you have this, you got to have sound. So what did you guys do for sound?
So the Freestyle actually has a built-in 5-watt speaker with 2 passive radiators. Now a passive radiator is it's a little piece of rubber that's inside. There's 2 of them that help to move more air. So despite the fact that this is a small projector, I mean, you've seen Phil hold it up. I've got mine here in my hand. And one of the things that we can do with this passive radiator is when we're moving more air, that's how you get more bass frequency out of it. So you've got the ability to project that audio out of all these holes here. So you get 360-degree audio. But there's another nifty trick that we have built in. So one of the things that someone had asked me about, let's say I have the Freestyle on my nightstand over here on the right, and the audio is, it's coming out of the Freestyle over here on the right. Well, I don't have to have my audio come out of there. I can actually use a Bluetooth speaker, or in our house, I have something called a sound tower, which is one of Samsung's big party speakers. And I actually paired my Freestyle up to my sound tower, and I put that underneath where I'm projecting the image, and I get big booming sound to partner with. I think I project about 80 inches in my room, so I get pretty hearty sound because I'm using the Bluetooth to that speaker and enjoying that huge image. But so in the event that I don't have that, you still have that 360-degree audio with that built-in speaker, and it really does sound quite clear.
Oh yeah, and so it has a Bluetooth receiver, so you can go to your phone, but it has a Bluetooth transmitter. Now that actually, I didn't even think about that, because one, you compare it to a speaker. The other thing too is, say I'm watching the video on the ceiling and I want to watch the show and my wife still wants to go to bed. She turns off the light, she doesn't want to hear it. Because it has a Bluetooth transmitter, I can grab my Bluetooth headphones and I can put my headphones on or my earbuds in, my little Samsung Galaxy earbuds, which I actually have, and I can actually lay in bed and I can finish listening and watching my show without disturbing other people. And that's pretty rare too. Most of these units may have, if you're lucky, will have a receiver, not a transmitter. So that's another example of how well thought out the product is. And where is it available? Where can I get it? And what is the retail cost for it?
So it's going to be available in a number of different channels. So obviously Samsung.com is always the one that we suggest everybody check out first. And the pricing jumps around quite a bit. So MSRP is $899, but it's the holiday season. There's always all sorts of promotions that are going on. But you'll find it in a lot of your typical brick and mortar electronics retailers, some of the big box ones. So Best Buy, PC Richard, depending on what area you're in, you will find this Freestyle projector out there.
You also have another piece, the Premiere. So can you talk a little bit about the Premiere?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2 different models of the Premiere. We have the LSP9T and the LSP7T. We're going to talk about the P9, but just at a surface level, I'll tell you about the differences. So the P7 is a single laser projector, where the LSP9T is a triple laser projector. So we'll focus on that one for the moment. So when Samsung, as you mentioned, when we decided we were going to go back to market with projectors, because it had been some time since we had released a projector, we wanted to do it big. And the LSP9T is a great way to get back into that market. So triple laser, this thing is bright, 2,800 lumens, and it is a 4K projector. So this is a great solution. Not everybody has the ability to let's say, they live in a high-rise apartment, something like that. It doesn't make sense for them to try to haul. We do make a 98-inch TV. It looks fantastic, but maybe it doesn't make sense for them to try to get that, up several flights of stairs or a freight elevator, or if they live in one of those high-rises where they can't mount anything onto the wall because all the walls are load-bearing. Well, this is a great solution where they can still have something that's over a 100-inch screen, and they only got to be a couple inches from the wall. And in fact, the LSP9T will give you up to a 130-inch screen. So pretty large display. And again, that's at that 4K resolution. Now, the other thing that you'll see on the specs on screen right now is that DCI-P3 color coverage. I think this is a really important thing for people to know. Look, when you're going to watch a movie in a theater, all those Hollywood movies are graded in DCI-P3. So having over 100% of that color gamut, being able to recreate that on the Premiere, that's going to ensure that you're going to get that movie theater experience right there in the comfort of your own home.
This display can deliver colors that many flat panels, most flat panels cannot. So they can do the reds of a London bus and pretty much any your jerseys and all of those things. So it just adds a level of pop. It really does. And that's one thing that everybody notices when you look at this tri-laser, the tri-laser capability is the color rendition is just dazzling. The other thing, because it's a laser, you're looking at 20,000 hours of life. So a lot of times when you have a projector, I say people, a movie used to have to be bulb worthy, which meant your kids wanted to watch cartoons on it. And what you're thinking is, how many hours of cartoons is that? Because I got to change the bulb every 3,000 hours. So with this, you say, the goal is supposed to be a TV replacement. Should power on and off as fast as a TV, and it should have the lifespan of a TV. And 20,000 hours means that whole thing about how many hours you're using it, you don't have to worry about it. Use it like a TV. And like I said, it's bright enough to use during the day, and the color is dazzling. Now, you said it's available in 2 different sizes, right?
So you have the 130-inch version. So that's the LSP9T. That's the triple laser. The single laser maxes out at 120 inches, and that's the single laser LSP7T. But with this LSP9T, this is where you're going to get that max screen size. So typically when we see people that are looking for these laser TVs or laser type projections, this is the one they tend to gravitate towards is that LSP9T. Now, the other big thing that you mentioned, ultra short throw. And when we say ultra short, we mean it, right? So in order for you to get that full 130 inches, you can be less than a foot from the wall. So that's pretty great that you don't have to have that projector. If you want to mount it overhead, you can. If you want to do rear projection, you can. But what we find is most people who are using these are keeping them, roughly a foot from the wall. And if you pair it with the right type of course, a UST ambient light rejecting screen, one of the great things about this is that it's bright enough that even in a room like this, I've got my curtains drawn open. If I've got that ALR screen and I have this projector, I can watch TV with all the lights on. It's that good. It's that bright, and the color will not suffer in any way, shape, or form, despite the lighting conditions, because of just how bright it is.
And a lot of new stuff is HDR, which stands for high dynamic range. High dynamic range material has a lot more color information in it, has a lot more brightness information in it. So it seems more like the real world. And because Samsung is a leader when it comes to flat panel TVs, a lot of that know-how for reproducing content in HDR they've applied a lot of that understanding to this projector. It even supports HDR10 plus, right?
That is correct. Yeah, it's actually the first projector in the world to launch with HDR10 plus capabilities. So to be certified by the HDR10 plus organization. So from a color reproduction standpoint, from just having that ability to pop when you have the right screen, it is really just an incredible experience. It's one of those things you have to see it to believe it. It's kind of I suppose it's a little bit difficult for us to convey it, here in this experience. But if you see one, it will blow you away. I absolutely just love this projector as well.
Yeah. So it's the first with HDR10 plus, and Samsung knows a little bit about HDR10 plus because they helped develop it. They're one of the companies that helped develop it. So it does a really good job of telling the projector how to apply its capabilities to get the most from the scene that you're looking at, scene by scene and frame by frame. And like I said, it requires a bigger brain, and because this has a very good video processor, which is found in a Samsung TV, you get all of those capabilities. And of course, if we were going to talk about other things about the projector, it's smart, right? It still has the same user interface as your other flat panels, correct?
Yeah, anybody who's used a Samsung TV over the last 5 or 6 years, you're probably already going to be familiar with the user interface. So it's going to have that same Tizen OS that we just talked about. Now it is a little bit different than what you see on the Freestyle. The Freestyle uses an updated UI. This one is going to have a very similar UI, but they're the same operating system, just different versions. But all those same smart apps that we talked about, they're going to be built right in. So you're going to have Prime Video, Apple TV, as you see on screen here, Disney Plus, all of those apps that we were just talking about a few moments ago, those are going to be built right into the Premiere. So again, you don't have to worry about connecting any type of additional streaming device, but you have the option to do so should you choose to, because you do have 3 HDMI connections on the back as well. One of those HDMIs, of course, is also going to offer eARC. So if you want to hook it up to a high-end audio system, you can do that.
Because it's a bigger, it's not big, but there's a little bit more room for sound in here compared to most flat panel TVs. So it has an upgraded sound system too, right?
Yeah, so you're going to have a 40-watt sound system with a technology that we have in some of our soundbars. It's called acoustic beam. An acoustic beam allows us to actually bounce audio upward and overhead to kind of give you that height effect. So acoustic beam is going to be built right into this as well. And we kind of understand that people who are looking at this projector, there may be situations where you're not using it with an audio system. So the audio that's built in, really, it's surprising. I mean, people are really wowed when they hear it. They can't believe that they're only hearing a 40-watt audio system, but it sounds fantastic. But as I mentioned a few moments ago, you also have that eARC port. So if you are watching, whatever your favorite streaming content is, Stranger Things or something like that, and you have a really great receiver, you want to plug into that, you're going to be able to take advantage of all those incredible audio experiences with your existing hardware as well.
So I reviewed the LS9T. So if you'd like to see our review on it, check out projectorreviews.com. And I am actually working on the review for the Freestyle, and that will be up in the next few days if I can get it back from my daughter. So Jonathan, thank you very much for coming and talking about Samsung's cool projector solutions.
Phil, it was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the review of the Freestyle. It sounds like you're having as much fun with it as I have with mine, and thank you again for having us.
Yes. So to learn more about the Freestyle and the Premiere smart ultra short throw laser projectors, check out Samsung.com. And to learn more about cool new projector solutions and accessories, check out projectorreviews.com. So take care, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.